Hi, I'm Jim Frederick. I'm your Dojo TV professor for Kenpo Karate. Tonight we're going to work on some techniques with the help of my trusty assistant here, James Hawkins. Come on out here, James. First technique tonight is a technique called crossing talon. The technique deals with like an eagle's talon, an eagle picking up its prey. And it's against the wrist grab. The man's doing a grab to my wrist. The second he grabs, the first thing I want to try and do is not test his strength. If I don't fuse my elbow to my body, James, make your grab strong, and I try and bring my hand up, it won't work. But if I place my elbow against my body, then I can move my hand. So as I bring the elbow and fuse it to my body, I move my hand, stepping in, cutting him right down the center line with this hand. Will kind of remind you of a technique we did earlier in the series, 5 swords. At this point, as I cut through the center line, I want to take that hand and I want to make it busy and nail it right to the ground. Once that hand's nailed to the ground, I'm going to pull him in, kind of like pulling a tuna on a boat if you're fishing. As I pull him in, I'm just going to strike with my elbow and create that zone of obscurity, clawing across the face, at the same time getting a break on the elbow. At this point, I'm going to anchor down across his shoulder to keep him from getting back up into the fight. As he goes to get back up into the fight and look at me, I'm going to circle my inward overhead elbow, getting colliding forces on his back as I drop my height. At this point, I'm going to heel palm him on the head and raise up on the elbow, exposing his rib cage. I'm going to drive my knee into his rib cage, plant, get a good clean break on that elbow. As I pull up on the wrist, I'm going to snap the elbow in here, and then I'm going to cover out to a zone of sanctuary. Come on back up, James. Let's do it from a different angle. Once again, as he grabs, I step right in, cutting him down the center. At this point, I drop his height, nailing him to the ground. And I'm going to draw him in, elbow, claw, check, inward overhead elbow, heel palm, pull up on the arm, deliver the knee, break, cover out. Come on back up. And one more time, we'll take it a little bit faster. Goes to grab, puts him down, elbow, claw, check, break, and cover. Come on back up. Now, as he grabs, we want to think about what his intent is. His intent is to either hit with this hand. If he's not going to hit, he's probably going to try and pull, like he was going to maybe go to a throw or a break. So as he grabs, and he would be stepping to do the break, this cancels that motion right off the bat. If he's going to punch, this cancels that motion. At this point, you might be worried about this leg. So if he was going for the leg, say with his hand first, say he's going with it with his hand, I can always sit out and do the technique from the ground. So the technique still works if you were to slip and fall, which is the what-if phase of the technique. You learn a technique in 3 phases: ideal phase, the what-if phase, and then what we call the formulation phase. You're formulating what would really happen and how you would defend against that attack. Another way of saying that is the formulation phase is the answers to your newly found what-ifs. So once again, as he grabs, cut through, and cover. Thank you, James. Our next technique is a technique called striking serpent's head. Mr. Parker definitely named this one appropriately. The person is being very aggressive and grabbing you with both hands around the waist, obviously attempting to control you, take you down to the ground, possibly throw you. Multiple problems there when they're grabbing you. With the help of Mr. McCluskey, we'll go into more detail. Okay, on this one, let's stand over here, Mr. Tom. The opponent and you, close, actually start out close, so you're actually in this position when you would start. The guy isn't far away charging at you. We have other techniques for that type of attack. This attack, you're at arm's reach. So whenever I have students practice the technique, I like them to start out like this. So Mr. Tom, put your hands out, and he obviously can reach me. So as he's grabbing, slowly grab around the waist. This hand's going to glue this hand firmly to the waist, so the person no longer has use for that. At that point, come on back. My left hand is going to be striking from a zone of obscurity, so he doesn't see it coming when I step back. So this hits right into the temple as I'm hitting, and I want to drop my height so I'm settling in a good firm stance. Also, so he can't bulldog me over, take me down, get on top of me and do a ground and pound session on me. So he wants to wrestle, so I want to make him box. But again, I'm going to box from where he doesn't see it coming. So as he grabs again, I strike to the temple right in here. That's very displeasing. You can probably see that by Mr. McCluskey's nodding face. At this point, I'm going to grab the eye sockets. Again, he's not going to be able to see, and you want to stick your fingers into the person's eyes if you're defending yourself, not in the classroom. So in the classroom, just want to maybe place above the eyebrows, and the person that's working with you wants to be cooperative because they understand they're on the receiving end of this. When it's their turn, they don't want you to stick their fingers in your eyes. So you have to be real careful here. You're going to anchor the elbow going into a forward bow, or you can drop to a wide kneel. You want to pull up on the arm to keep that secure, and the elbow's anchored down. This elbow's fused to the body. At this point, I'm going to shoot my half fist into his throat, not allowing him to grab his throat. And I'm going to turn my left hand clawing and emphasize the claw on the face as I go back. Stay down. At this point, if you wanted to go on fighting, you're in position to keep fighting if you needed to. And you're going to cover out to a zone of sanctuary. Come on back up. Let's take that from a little bit different angle. Once again, he's going to grab, strikes to the temple, grab to the eye sockets, anchor the elbow, raising up on the arm to keep him up. You don't want him to drop down. If he drops down and gets the leg, you're going to end up on your back. So the idea is he's grabbing, you want to keep him up. You don't want him going low. If one foot has to drop back and firmly secure your stance. As you go back, you even want to let your toes even grip the carpet. The Chinese refer to this as rooting yourself to the earth. I want you just to drop back when you do the technique. Make sure your height drops, and you want to get the shoulders going into it when you go. So as you're stepping back, let that arm just come right in and strike. One more time, real slow. We hit. One more time, real slow. This comes right around, tracking his body. Once this hits, grabs, claw, bringing his head back, raise up on the arm, shoot your half fist, not allowing him to continue to grab at that point. If this hand's starting to go down, as I claw, he's going to go the opposite direction, and I end up in a perfect fighting stance. Even if he was to stay standing, come on back up, Mr. McCluskey. Say the guy didn't fall. As you went back, you ripped, you shot your half fist. He's grabbing his face at this point and throat. He's not going to see the kick coming, and you are in position to keep fighting. One more time. Let's take it from another angle. He goes to grab, strikes, brings his head back, half fist, and claw. Thank you. Our next technique is called locked wing. We're in a hammer lock, meaning our hand is jacked up behind us. Bad position. Come on out here, Mr. McCluskey. Turn around for me. Just standing on the training horse. Let's examine, first of all, why this is such a bad position. You're in a horse stance. The guy's at your center line. He's got your arm jacked up behind your back. We have 4 steps of range in Kenpo. I'm going to use the word contact. 1, I'm out of contact. The next step of range would be within contact, like a boxer setting up for a jab, to get contact penetration, which is the 3rd step of range. The 4th would be manipulation. As you can see, this is where we are. We're at the manipulation stage. To me, that is the 4th step of range, which I call the danger stage if you're on the receiving end. You're in a real bad position. Let's switch places. So here I am. I've got myself in the 4th step of range, meaning he's closest to me at the manipulation stage, and he's in a position where he can break my arm, and I've caught myself here in a horse stance. The first thing I need to do is to re-grab his hand. And as you can see, by re-grabbing his hand, even if he's stronger than me, and he's bringing my arm up, at least I've secured the hand to keep my arm from going up behind my back momentarily. So I want to grab his wrist not to really be able to control him, but to keep my own arm from being broken. Once I've re-grabbed, I'm going to step to his center line, cutting him down the middle. So even by just stepping to his center line, I've already now regained position. If I insert an elbow here, you can imagine the impact of this elbow hitting. Let's turn around for the camera. Put your head back right here. So I'm striking under the chin in a very soft tissue area, and it's in a straight line with the head. That's going to do an incredible amount of damage. When you think of, stand on the training horse, the idea of the elbow coming in, boom, with a lot of power, like that hitting right there. That's going to break his jaw and probably stop the fight. But in Kenpo, as I always say, we train for over skill. Or some people like to use the term overkill. I prefer over skill. Let's grab. So, turn back around this way. So here we are, I'm in the horse stance. Now when I step back, I circle this arm and hit right up into the jaw, cutting right down that center line. As he grabs, I'm going to keep that hand busy to keep it away from my face so he can't hit me. At this point, let's turn around now this way. I've stretched out this limb. So as I've hit him, I've stretched out that limb, kept the other hand from hitting me, and I've broken his horizon. So he's leaning back in what I like to call the limbo position, meaning he's really not in a position to fight here. He's trying now to straighten back up to get back into the fight. At that point, I'm going to borrow his momentum and break this arm down. Come on back up. So if we pull up Mr. McCluskey's sleeve, the arm bends this way. It doesn't bend that way. So as I come around, I'm going to get a good break on this elbow. Let's turn back around now. So here we are. He's got me. I go back, shoot that elbow. I keep the hand busy. I break that arm down. I step back, making that hand stay busy. At this point, I'm going to heel palm him in the ear and let the fingers catch the face in the eye socket. I'm going to bring him right into the knee, then get rid of it. And then cover out to a zone of sanctuary. Sanctuary meaning safe zone. I'm in a zone of sanctuary so I can survey what's around me in case there's more than one attacker. Come on back up. This is a good technique where if you did have a multiple attacker situation, which Kenpo does cater to, you can use this guy as a shield in this technique. And that can sometimes be real useful. If you use him as a shield, he runs into his buddy hits him, now they're fighting, and you can get away. That's always a good idea too. Let's try it from a different angle. So we go back, we shoot our elbow, we keep his hand busy, we bring him down, drop him down, heel palm, knee, get rid of him. Come on back up, Mr. Todd. One more time. We elbow, keep him busy, bring him up, drop him down, heel palm, knee, get rid of him. Come on back up, one more time. Different angle. We go back and shoot our elbow, keep him busy, bring it down, drop it. You want to make sure that hand goes down. Once the hand's down, if I needed to try something else, whole new set of targets now. And we're going to do our third hand principle. Third hand principle meaning I've got my hands free, he's trapped, I could be fighting someone else, and then cover. Come on back up. And one more time. Yes, sir. Let's take it from this angle. Go back elbow, keep him busy, break, drop it down, heel palm, knee, cover. Thank you. In locked wing, you also want to make sure that when you're in the hammerlock and you step back and you go to deliver your elbow, you want to use what's called opposing forces. I'm pulling this way, and as I pull this way, my elbow is going the opposite direction. So one hand's pulling one direction as one shoots the other. So as I step back and I shoot that elbow, I'm going to pull with my right hand. So I pull his face into the elbow. Let's see that from another angle. Okay, number 18 on orange, obscure wing. Obscure wing gets its name for a few reasons. One, the elbow, once it hits, is running obscure to the body, but the attacker is also at an obscure angle. So it's definitely named appropriately. Come on out here, Mr. McCluskey. A lot of people look at the technique. When you see it, it doesn't look like much. It's a small amount of movement, getting a lot for that amount of movement. So you're doing very little and getting what I call major effect. So without further, come over here. He's got my shoulder, so he's grabbing your right shoulder from your flank. As he pulls backward, I want to step right to his center line. So my right foot's basically still cutting him right down the center. So I'm looking to split that right down the center with right where I'm stepping. Also, by doing this, pull backward, Mr. McCluskey, I'm in a good firm stance, so it's hard for him to manipulate me around. What you want to concern yourself with is this right hand here. So as he's pulling back, I want to give him something to think about. So I'm going to elbow to the solar plexus, then I'm going to hammer fist to the groin. He's going to bend over. As he bends over, we're going to get what we call colliding forces on the elbow. He's going to be bending down right into that elbow. So as this hits, boom, he's going up, and then I want to clear this arm as I cover out. One more time. As he's pulling me back and I've hit with the elbow, the hammer fist hits. Also, then you're going to turn your hand and you're going to get a 2-for-1 shot there. You're going to heel palm and allow the fingertips to also hit, and you're going to try and claw up the body as you elbow to the chin. When I say colliding forces, I want you to think of two trains coming together on a railroad track and then running into one another. One train is the elbow, one train is his chin. Let's try that again. And once more. Let's take from different angles, sir. Slow. Elbow hits, hammer, heel palm, elbow, cover. Thank you, Mr. Tom. Now, in the technique, when you're practicing it, you want to make sure that you step back and you get what we call toe and heel alignment. So your big toe is in a direct alignment with your heel. You want to be dropping your height and settling. It's another principle that you're utilizing. Your right hand is just pulling right to the hip. My left hand, as I grab my shoulder, isn't making a big circle. It's making a very small circular motion, tracking your own body. So as I step, there's the motion you're looking for. You want to make sure you're looking at the opponent so you can identify your attacker. You're going to hammer fist to the groin, heel palm to the groin, allow your fingertips to whip and dig in, and you're going to claw right up the body and elbow to the chin. He's going to fall backward. Whatever direction he falls to, you want to move to the opposite direction, keeping your eyes on him and surveying what's going on around you as you do your move. So once again, as he pulls on the shoulder, you borrow the force, you deliver your elbow, your hammer fist, your heel palm, fingertips, elbow to the chin. I mean, when you practice, you literally want to see your opponent. The better you get, the better your imagination. You literally want to see the opponent, you want to see him bend down when you're practicing in the air, you want to see the opponent grab his jaw, you want to see him fall over. As my teacher used to say, you want to feel the flesh between your fingertips when you're practicing. You step back, you deliver your elbow, your hammer fist, your heel palm, your fingertips hit, elbow to the chin, he falls backward. Survey as you cover out. If you listen, that's the way your fingertips are hitting when you hit the groin. So the heel palm hits first, then the fingertips, and then you claw. One more time. Thank you.